Good morning and welcome to the University of Lincoln Live Lounge and Virtual Open Day. I'm Ellie Sample and I'd like to start by saying a really happy Diwali to everybody out there celebrating the season of light in this wonderful festival of lights. And with me today is...
I'm Emma Jubbs and I'm also the co-host for this Live Lounge. So welcome to the University of Lincoln.
Thanks, Emma. It's really great to see you today. We've got some wonderful, exciting things going on today. A couple of firsts. One that I'm very excited about is we've got a very special guest. But first off, this is an interactive session. So please do say hi. Tell us where you're from. You can easily do that in the comments, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. Please just say a big hello and tell us where you're watching from, because we're really interested to know, aren't we, Emma?
We are, yeah. It's always nice to know when we've if we were live today in this sort of lecture theatre doing a normal open day, we would always ask, where have you travelled from? What's your journey been like? So it's really nice to know where you're sort of viewing from with your sort of coffee and croissant this morning.
I do hope you've got a coffee and croissant. Unfortunately, I've already drunk my coffee. So, and normally we would definitely have some coffee. But things are different and it gives us a chance to do things differently. And one of the things I'm really excited about today is we've got a very special guest. And our special guest today is Dame Carol Duffy, previously the Poet Laureate. So Carol is going to be joining us at 1 o'clock today. I've got her book of poems and I'm ready to ask her lots of questions about all her poems on the A-level syllabus. So if you've got a question for Carol, either join us at 1 or post your question now in the chat or throughout this morning in the chat, and Emma and I will write it down and we'll put it to her at 1 o'clock, and you can either watch it live or come back and watch that later. And if you think about how wonderful an opportunity that is, if we had Ted Hughes or Tennyson or Wordsworth or John Dryden, you could ask them any question at all. That would be absolutely amazing. So to be able to ask a previous Poet Laureate any question that you have is a bit of a treat. So please do tell us your questions. But before we go too much further, I'm going to ask Emma to run through some of the other exciting things that are happening with us today.
I will. First of all, I will just say hi to all of those people that are tuning in from Yorkshire, Somerset, Bedford, Norwich, York, Cyprus, even Cyprus. And
Netherlands.
And Sweden. Oh, amazing. That's incredible. And one of our alumni today is actually from Austria. So telling us about her journey to come and be a study here in Lincoln will be amazing for some of those people that are overseas today. So we're really looking forward to that. First of all, though, the agenda for this morning is we are going to go straight to Amina, who is one of our student union officers. Now, Amina is our international officer, and she's going to give us a little guided tour of the Students' Union, which obviously at the moment is not open, but you can actually see it. So she's going to take us on a little tour and hopefully probably nip out in the rain to show us a bit of the campus as well. We're then going and going to speak to Ben about our student accommodation and how you can apply for that and what we've got on offer to book. And then we're going to go to Caroline Connell, who is our Queen of Admissions. So she's got all of those questions that you may have about your application, how to apply, all of those sort of things. We're going to speak to Caroline. And then at 11 o'clock, you have two options. You can stick with us, stick with me and Ellie, and speak to Will and Chi-Chi about being a student and sort of their whole journey. So we've got a current student and an alumni, but also you can at 11 o'clock go to your subject sessions, can't you, Ellie?
You can choose to join any of your subject sessions, and to find them, if you go onto our Virtual Open Day page, if you're not there already, if you click on the Virtual Open Day page, you'll find a massive list below us of all the subjects that are doing live sessions this afternoon. And a massive thank you to producer Darren, who is one step ahead of me as per usual. Darren, do you want to come and say hi?
Hi, morning.
Hi, producer Darren. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm ready for another exciting virtual open day. Like you said, Ellie, it's an opportunity to us to do something new and interesting, and we've got a couple of new things today with Ben's tour of accommodation as well, so it should be pretty good.
And Darren, I'm going to give away a secret to everyone watching. I'm going to tell them you're an alumnus of the University of Lincoln. We haven't been able to get rid of you. Why is that, Darren?
You make it sound negative. No, I graduated in 2014. I studied film and television. Absolutely loved my time here at Lincoln. I worked in the industry for a couple of years outside of Lincoln, but always wanted to return. So as soon as I found an opportunity to work in the university's marketing department itself, and stayed there ever since. Get to put my skills into good use and do really creative things like this.
It is wonderful. It's amazing what we've managed to do during lockdown. But before we go any further, I do really all the people who have given us a hello. So a big shout out to Harley, to Lee, to Sophie from Suffolk, Rebecca, Brianne from Cumbria, Natalie, Jade, Ottilie, Megan, Jibs from Grimsby. Hi, Jibs, just up the road. Holly from Birmingham, Rebecca, Salmon, Evie from Leamington, Liv from Norfolk. That's a beautiful place, isn't it? Emily in Doncaster, Emily in London, Lucy, as you said, Yassas in Cyprus. Really lovely to meet you. Alex from York, Smithy from Nottingham, Eleanor, Nellie from Sweden. It's lovely to meet you, Nellie, as we mentioned before. Bethan and S. Herbert, Livy, Toby, Jane, Eleanor, Joe, Mia, Tanya from Switzerland, and Nikki. And so a massive hello to all of you people. Please do say hi. Hi, Alfred. Oh my goodness, Suren from Nepal. Did I pronounce that wrong, Emma? Is it Nepal?
Nepal, isn't it?
That's right. So thank you so much for joining us. We really hope you enjoyed today. Please don't forget to post your questions. I should probably tell you, you've all told us where you are. I am currently in the Vice-Chancellor's office, and I'm literally in the heart of the campus. I'm overlooking the city, the very beautiful medieval city of Lincoln. You can probably see just there's an ancient castle and cathedral, and we normally do our graduation in the castle and cathedral, which is absolutely beautiful. It's a bit like Harry Potter, Diagon Alley. That's how I always think of it, or a bit like Middle Earth. It's the most beautiful city, I believe, in the whole world. I absolutely love it. So I'm overlooking the Brayford, which is a river that lots of our accommodation overlooks, and you can see some student accommodation over there as well. So the great thing about Lincoln is we're a campus university right in the heart of the city. Wherever you're living, pretty much everything's about 10 minutes away. And Emma, where are you?
I'm going to quickly say hi to Sophie because she's tuning in from Plymouth, which I believe is your hometown, Ellie. So
it is. Hi, Sophie.
I am located in our Isaac Newton Lecture Theatre. So our building is called the Isaac Newton Building, and this is our largest lecture theatre on campus. We would normally have this absolutely full today with you all sort of here, but this is the home to our physics, our computing, our engineering students. So it's so magnificent, this building. It's absolutely beautiful, and I literally look out as I leave this lecture theatre and view sort of, apart from McDonald's, also the new medical school is being built, which is incredible and so exciting for Lincoln. Yet again, another first, but also the array of accommodation, just like you say, Ellie, it's literally a minute walk from, it's just literally surrounds the campus. It's incredible. We're so lucky.
And you mentioned first, and it's probably a good time to say that we are the #1 modern university of the year, according to the Times and Sunday Times. So we're incredibly proud of that, and of the fact that our students rate us so highly, really. Darren, would you be kind enough to tell us what your favourite thing to do in Lincoln is?
Well, my favourite thing to do is probably these days a lot different to what it was when I was a student. McDonald's would be highly rated up there, with it being so close to the library and the campus. But nowadays, I really enjoy walking up to the Bailgate just because it's linking the city itself. Is you have the bottom bit which is more modern, but up the top, like you said, Ellie, it is quite like there's still Steep Hill, which is a little bit like Diagon Alley from Harry Potter. Which is really, really nice. It's just sort of old style, and it's just really cool and photogenic. And if you check out our Instagram page, you see lots of photos of it. It's worth taking a look.
It's true. I wish you were here and you could join our student tour. And it's a good time to say we are actually going to start taking bookings for physical tours of the university in the city very soon. So as soon as we're able, we'll be inviting those people who are interested to come and visit the university in the city, because it's such a big decision deciding where you want to go to university, and it's really important to visit if you possibly can. So we're going to take bookings, and then as soon as we're able to, we will be inviting you. The last thing I'm going to do before we move on is actually, Emma, you normally mention what we send to our students, and I've got one here because I was going to show it when you mentioned it.
So as soon as you apply to the university and you accept us as your firm choice, and we'll go through that sort of scenario slightly with Caroline, but the box that Ellie is showing, if you open that box, what you would receive through the door is a sweatshirt or a hoodie. So we like to change these between, these are what our 2020 applicants got. There will be something new and exciting for our 2021 applicants. So as you will be doing the Modern University of the Year, then look out for that. But they are so cozy and absolutely perfect for this time of the year. I think we all sneak one home, if we're really honest, in the marketing department to ensure that we've all got one.
Well, we call it a hug in a box, don't we, Emma? We like to send everyone a hug. So you and then when you join our Friends for Life group, so you can make friends before you actually start, once you've got your offer and you can get to know people, then it just means that you get to sort of have a real good feel for the University of Lincoln, and you've made friends before you actually arrive. But I'm already running late, which is very, very naughty, because waiting for us over in the Students' Union is Amina.
Hi, Amina.
Hi, Amina.
Hello.
Hi, how are you, Amina?
I am good, thank you. How are you all doing this morning as well?
Good, thank you. Really good.
Yeah, we're really good. It looks a bit rainy behind you. Amina, can you tell us where you are and what you're up to today?
So I'm seated in one of the offices in the Student Union building. Ellie, I'm sure you want to probably tell our listeners which office I am in, given that if you look through the window, you can see our library.
Wow. Often open 24/7, isn't it, Amina, for those important times just before exams?
Yes, for students, because students have different times that they would like to study. Some people like to study during the day, and some people like to study at night. So depending on what time is suitable for you, the library would meet this.
And Amina, tell us a bit about you, because you're the Vice President International. Can you explain what that means and what a sabbatical is?
Okay, so I'm a Vice President International, and this is one of the 5 roles within the Students' Union for students who were elected to become student leaders. So we have 5 roles. We have the Vice President Education, we have Vice President Activities, we have Vice President Campaigns and Environment, and we have Vice President Wellbeing and Community. And we've been elected by students, so we call student leaders or sabbatical officers. Basically, we help represent the interests of all the students at the university, and just to make sure you have a better experience when you are here. And the Student Union is an independent organization separate from the university, but it's here to give you that experience other than academic. but then to also make sure that your academic experience is something that we hold dear to our hearts, to make sure that you have different ways of having your academic courses and give us feedback on how things are going, and then just to make sure that we share this information to the university to enhance your experience while you're here. So that is us, and most students are really, really excited to know about the Students' Union and the services that we offer. We offer like a whole range of services, from sports to societies, volunteering opportunities. We have lots of volunteering officers. We have course reps, college officers, and we also have an advice center. So if you're unsure of where to go to during a certain time, not sure of what to do, if it's finance related, welfare related, housing, you can just come to us and we'll send you in the right direction, because we have professional advisors who support to give you impartial advice on what to do. And the good thing is, if you can't come in face to face, you can book an appointment online. So lots and lots of things that the Student Union here has for you as students. And we do have venues that in a short while I'll be taking you around. So when you're on campus, you have places that you can visit and do lots of exciting activities.
That's brilliant. And before we do that, Amina, can you tell us a little bit about the sports and societies? So how many they are, and what kind of things you can do?
At the moment we have over 150 sports and societies, and with sports we have badminton, netball, football, societies. We have business society, academic society, like just so many. And the whole idea of existing sports and society for students is to help students experience the other side of things, not just education wise, but every time you go for lectures, have assignments, you need that other experience where you can get to meet friends, meet people, and have that extracurricular activity. And the sports and societies are here for you to be able to like build this type of network and friendship. And why not? If you probably want to go running and don't want to do it by yourself, if you are in a sports club that has that, you can be able to like build your momentum on doing that. And if you probably have interest in something that you've never had the chance or the opportunity to do so, joining a society or a sports club would allow you to do this. So that's one of the things. And if you ask so many students who have had the opportunity to be part of sports and societies, they would have shared that experience, that it really helped them to connect with people. Imagine if you probably an international student, it's a good opportunity for you to meet other people as well and get to know of so many things, cultural differences and all of that. So,
and Amina, we've got a question for you from Jane Chapman, who'd like to know, is there a martial arts society?
I should think so, but I'm not sure. But we can, because
I have a feeling that it's split down actually into the different martial arts. I think there's a karate club and a taekwondo club.
Yeah.
And I mean, you mentioned more well-known clubs, but I know there's a Harry Potter society, there's a bobsleigh society, there's a cheerleading society. Yeah. It is quite diverse, isn't it?
Well, there is
it's actually it's a lot, and every time you have new societies coming up as well. So if you are a student and then you realize that there is a society that you want to start, which isn't part of what we have, you can actually start it. You just get people who share similar interests, and then you probably have to meet a threshold. All you have to do is be in contact with our vice president activities and then submit your interest, and you can start your own society. How interesting.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah. Now, I'm going to say massive hi to Petter from Barnsley, but also happy Diwali to Svosti, who's celebrating. And Svosti's asked if there's a rowing society, and I think you were going to answer that, Emma.
I was just going to sort of say to the audience to throw in your questions, just like we have. Ask which society you would like to join when you sort of consider Lincoln, because as Amina has said, we've got a whole host of sort of societies, sport and otherwise, haven't we? So, but there is, the beauty of Lincoln is we are literally located next to water. And so just at the side of Ellie, where she's located, is the Brayford Pool. And you will always see at the weekends the rowing society out there along sort of the Witham. So,
and the canoe club. And Sophie's asked if there's a creative writing society. I think there is. Amina, do you know on that one?
Yeah, there is. When I saw the question about the rowing, I was like, we literally beside the Brayford. There's definitely, I mean, every time you see students rowing, sometimes when the weather is really amazing, when the sun is out. So there is that society.
And Keris has asked if there's a swimming pool. And Natalie, there is netball.
Yes.
Yes. Now, we don't have a swimming pool on campus, do we, Amina?
No, we don't. But we do have a swimming society. And then I know they use the community pool that we have at, is it Yarborough?
Yarborough, it's literally just up the road, isn't it? It's
a connection with them.
Oh gosh, now we've started a huge one. So you've got to answer all of these. So can you go sailing near Lincoln? Now I'm a bit of a sailor because I'm from Plymouth, and I can tell you that you can sail not too far away, but you can't sail on the Brayford. It's not really it's too shallow. There's too much weed to sail here, I'm afraid. I don't know this one. Amina, do you know, is there a competitive horse riding society?
I
know there's a polo club.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because there's a polo club, that could be a possibility. But I would probably just drop in the link to our sports and societies, and then we just have a look at the list of it, because like I said, we have over 150. So I may be able to like say some, probably some may escape my mind. And then, like I said, there have been submissions recently for new sports and societies. So you can just visit lincolnsu.com/activities/sports and societies and just have a look at all of the list of sports and societies we have there.
Kat Spears has made a good point, and this actually is going to lead us into our tour quite nicely, because Kat says music is a de-stress for me. Is there anywhere where I could go? Well, Amina is sitting on top of the largest music venue in Lincoln. So Amina, at this point, is it a good time for you to do our live tour?
Yeah, I guess so. So
in the rain, sorry, Amina.
That's okay. It's part of the weather we have. So I will be heading out now.
As you're walking, Amina, shall we sort of say hi to Leah and Natasha and Mia? Mia, it is, as Amina sort of said, it's very easy to start a new society. That's what the beauty of Lincoln is, really. That's why there are so many. If you've got an interest and you've got other fellow students that are interested in that, then yes, you can start one. So that's what the SU are there to support you with.
And Natasha, I can tell you, we do have a lifting society, because we had a really successful weightlifter here who started one a couple of years ago. So yes, we did start one up. And as far as I know, Amina can't answer us at the moment because she's walking through the Students' Union, through what we call the engine shed. Well, this is the platform, which is a smaller venue, isn't it, Emma?
It is. The platform is sort of above, so it's on the sort of first level of the SU, of the engine shed almost. And I think Amina is walking through. There's sort of a nice bar area. That's beautiful. Look at that. That is incredible. And that is the tower bar. Sort of looking down, and we often have sort of in normal times, we'd have sort of the sports shows, live sport there. So obviously a pool for people to sort of chill out and relax between lectures, or obviously at the weekends. So it's a really beautiful setting, really beautiful.
And Eleanor, you asked how many societies you can join. The answer is as many as you like. And our advice would be join and try as many things as you can. Make friends, take the opportunity. Everyone's in exactly the same position as you. Nobody knows anyone. So it's a really good opportunity. And as you can see, we've got some fabulous space and a huge campus here at Lincoln, which makes it possible to do all of those things. Brianne, you asked whether multiple sports can clash. It depends. A lot of sports happens on a Wednesday afternoon, so you might have to prioritize the ones you want to do. And I want to say hi to Anisha from the US of A. Hi, Anisha. And to Annie from Chesterfield and Connor from Newark. Hi, Connor.
Should we remind the viewers, as Amina is walking out, that the subject sessions will be starting at 11 o'clock. So, and thank you to our colleagues across the colleges that are sort of pointing everybody in the right direction for those to start. So you can see that on the chat on YouTube and Facebook. And also a reminder that we have our very special guest at 1 o'clock, who is Carol-Ann Duffy.
That's right. And Emily Lodge says, how many students attend the University of Lincoln? I can tell you it's around about 17,000 full-time students who are here on campus. And is there a music society or an art club? Yes, there is. You do have to pay all of the societies and clubs are subsidised by the Students' Union, but there is often a fee for joining and a fee for equipment if you need it. Hi, Sophie from Workshop. Sorry, Emma.
Sorry, I was going to say the fees are very minimal. Sort of an annual fee could be something around £15 for the year. So it's just sort of having that cash when you start with us ready.
And here we are in the engine shed, and you can get a sense for how huge this venue is. Here during the socially distanced period, we've been doing cinema shows to 400 people within this venue, which is absolutely huge. So it's been great during this period where we've still been able to do so many things. So we've been doing comedians and doing 3 shows a night to make sure that everybody gets the opportunity to see.
Yeah, we did some big quizzes. We had bingo as well, and it was really, really, really fun. We had cinemas on Mondays, quizzes on Tuesdays, bingos on Wednesdays, and then over the weekend we had crazy golf here in the ancient shed. So lots of things it has done. Right now I'm about to step out to give a tour of the campus. So as you all know, I have to put on my face mask.
Well done.
I think while Amina is going, Amina, we've also used that space during the daytime, haven't we, for additional sort of study areas, so that you're not sort of, so our students at the moment are using all of the space that we have. We've made on campus very shortly. Just quickly, Kira, the time for the School of Life Sciences sessions will start at 11 o'clock. So you would be part of the College of Science.
And you'll find that on the Virtual Open Day site. Now, here in front of us, you can see our wonderful library, which is an award-winning building. It's absolutely beautiful inside. And as you can see, during this time, we've transformed our campus. We've put loads of outdoor seating around. We've put loads of outdoor catering space. And at the end there in front of you is the business school. And then on the left, thanks, that's the business school there. On the left of Amina is the Students' Union. There's the Careers Centre where you can go for one-to-one careers session. There's our on-campus LPAC, which is our 450-seat theatre where we have amazing people. We have all sorts of comedians, Julian Clary, Stuart Lee, lots. And of course, the students do their performances there. And when we do an Edinburgh Festival show every year and the students prepare in there. And then just to the left, if Amina turns around a little bit, other left, Amina, other left. I'm trying to turn it. There's our engineering school, and there's our TP, because again, as I say, we've created additional space during this time and the additional outdoor space. So we've built 2 teepees on campus, which we're using for social space, and you can get food and drink delivered there using the online app. And then just behind the TP to the left is our new medical school, I believe, isn't it, Emma? You're much better at geography.
It is, yeah. So the building that we're just sort of looking at, sort of the, Mina is walking ahead. That's the building I am currently in. And just beyond that is the Lincoln Medical School that is currently being built. I can hear it's a little bit windy out there, so I'm not sure. I think I'm quite happy to stay indoors. But yes, that is sort of, it's an amazing, and the Zing Cafe in the LPAG, I love the hot chocolates in there.
Oh, it's so nice, white hot chocolate, Emma. Oh, I like one of those.
No, I'm missing that actually.
I know, and the College of Arts is down there as well. And a massive thanks to Amina for that. Amina, do you want to tell us anything while you're there?
Yeah, all I wanted to say, so as I mentioned earlier about our advice center, which is situated right here, that's the entrance, and we recently started a cycle high and cycle tours. So once you're in Lincoln, will be a great opportunity for you to get a bike here, and then let's tour Lincoln, which we did during the welcome week and a couple of weeks after. Really nice places to see if you love cycling or you love walking.
It is true. I mean, Amina, what's your favorite thing to do in Lincoln?
I think I love to walk around and just visit places, take pictures, and get back home, do a little bit of editing, and then post them on social media. And recently, lots of students are doing that as well. So who knows? If photography is your thing, using your phone, then you'd have so many places to take pictures of while you're here in Lincoln.
Jane Chapman, thank you so much for helping us with answering some of these questions. You're right, on the Virtual Open Day page, there are tables with all the talks in them. So if you find the College of Science, Jed, you'll find the computer science talk there. There was a question earlier, Emma, as to whether or not there's a talk from the medical school. I believe that there is, but I'm checking with you because...
Yeah, there is. There is a conversation, so it's a very much a round table conversation. You can ask your questions about medicine, or you can actually stick with us at 11 o'clock and we will be chatting directly to a current medical student, Will. So actually that, if you've already applied, that might be somewhere nice to sort of listen and ask Will your questions about what it's like to actually study as a medical student here at Lincoln.
Now, Ottily's asking, our society is still running with COVID this year. There's all sorts going on, to be honest. If you go onto the front page of the website, you'll find a little banner called Social Activities for Students. So you can see the activities we've got going on right now during lockdown, because it's really important that there's stuff for our students to do. And we haven't been able to compete in terms of the societies because the national bucks competitions have been put off until next term, but it depends what happens next term as to whether or not they'll start again. But there's been a lot of online activity with the clubs and societies. This is one for you, Emma, I think. Jed, are there childcare facilities at Lincoln Uni?
There is a nursery which is actually on campus, Jed. It's not a university-owned facility, but an awful lot of staff and students do sort of send their children to the nursery, which I believe is an amazing sort of facility. So yes, it is literally on campus.
And Anna, you don't need experience to join the clubs or societies. You can join as a beginner. We know Bailey, who joined the Dance Society, always talks about this she's one of Amina's colleagues, isn't she, Amina? And I must say, massive thank you, Amina, for that tour. It was brilliant.
Just to add to joining a society as a beginner, yes, you can. Why not? That's why the societies and sports are there for you. And they have taster sessions. And the sports and societies this year have done amazing, because most of them have really adjusted to try and make sure that their members are still engaged as much as they can. So everything within the sports and societies at the Students' Union, just as we have lectures, everything is in a COVID secure manner. So like lots of activities happening virtually and getting members engaged. So they're doing the best that they can. And I have to say, well done to all of our sports and societies for doing this year for their members.
And Tasmin, there is a wonderful dance society, and normally when we do physical open days, the dance society come and do a display, and they are brilliant. But for now, we are behind schedule, so I'm really, really sorry. We're going to say goodbye to Amina, and a massive thank you, Amina. You were amazing.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. And we're going to move straight on. We're going to try and keep answering your questions, and I'm going to ask my colleagues who are watching the feed to try and pick up some of these questions with direct messages. But please do keep sending them in. We really want to answer as many as we can. Yeah, Mina's amazing, Swasti. She is brilliant and she's great at representing students. But Emma, I'm going to ask you, please, can you introduce our fantastic next guest?
I certainly can. Our next guest is Ben Ball. Now, Ben, hello. Hello,
Good
Ben.
morning.
Good morning.
Hi,
Now,
Ellie.
tell
Hi,
us.
Ben.
Ben is from our accommodation office. And now tell us, Ben, where you are. That certainly doesn't look like your office that you work from. So tell us where you are.
I'm in Cygnet Wharf, one of our developments on campus. We've got a little space in there that we've decided to, with our team, dress up as if a student had just moved in. And we're going to try and do you actually a walkthrough of the apartment and how students might set their play. My tastes are very different to many students that we're going to get through, but you can see I've got some fairy lights in the background because students can do their own thing to their own room, and it makes a big difference that once they've put their own design and their own cushions on the back of the bed here that we're going to give you an image of shortly as we move on.
It looks brilliant. It looks so good, Ben. Are you living there? That is amazing.
Well, my colleague, because we do have one or two, there's 3 or 4 colleagues working on this presentation today, and we're not all in the same bubble. So people from behind the camera will have face coverings on, but you won't see that because they're behind the camera. But my colleague and friend Ed is waiting for me in the kitchen. He won't, because we work in the same bubble. So we're okay to socialize and get ready for today's events and relax afterwards, which is what we're going to try and show you that you can do in a kitchen living room that we have. This is a small apartment, just so that people don't think that's the size of the kitchen when we eventually get there. So this is actually only a 3-bedroom apartment, but it is in Cygnet Wharf, and that is right next door to the nursery that we were just talking about. So we can go from you. Would you like us to start the tour of trying to show, and you just shout up if you've got any questions, and I'll try and talk you through then the rest of the developments once we've got into the kitchen.
That would be amazing, Ben. So we'll give you a second just to maneuver your sort of laptop with your...
Yeah, it's all planned. It's all planned. And if anything falls over, we apologise, but we've tried it 1 or 2 times, so hopefully we're going to get this right. So here we go. So I'm going down the length of the room in darkness, so my fairy lights are showing up.
That's brilliant.
It looks like it's Christmas already.
It does. We love Christmas. Oh my gosh.
3/4 bed.
While you're moving, Ben, sorry. Just a reminder to everybody that the subject sessions will be starting at 11 o'clock in 20 minutes. And also
Cushions, Emma.
Incredible.
Look, that's brilliant. Oh my gosh. Oh, yes, it is a perfect day. I feel so happy already. I have to admit, I'm always happy, and Emma's always happy, but that is the best cushion ever.
Oh, we've got more for you. Let's just take a few steps back, because this is what students can do to their own room. Typical ensuite for Cygnet Wharf now, and many of our other newer developments. So bathrooms.
That looks so nice. That looks so nice. Oh, that does look really good. Oh, it looks brand new as well, Ben.
Well, we've spent an awful lot of time getting ready. So while we move on to the kitchen, just pick up a point here. We are supported for students who live on campus in our university managed accommodation by our residential wardens team. And they leave lots of notices and touch points for people to be able to reach out to them. And they're a team that are there as a bit of a lean on. If you've got something that you're concerned about, you can contact the residential. They can signpost, just have an informal chat, and they also do some events and things to help people socialise. So they get door hangers for their little bit of advertising with lots of other things.
Ben, we've got loads of questions that I think Emma's going to put to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ellie. I was just going to say, just pause there for 1 second. Thank you, Judy. I think our accommodation is amazing too. But Isabel Ward has asked, how many places of accommodation are there on campus?
Is on campus is 1,700, 1,700, just about.
Amazing. And also, Oliver has asked, what is the average price for our accommodation?
Well, our bookings application routine is about to open, and there'll be a fees guide linked to our website and our application portal. The old one is probably still there, but it's a variation of prices for a lot of reasons, different styles, different locations, and we have tried to bring in a particular value option this year, thinking about affordability. But I can try and pick that up a little bit when I do the set of development.
Thank you. And then if we just for now, because I've realised that you need to give a bit of information to these questions, but is there any accommodation? Kat Spears is asking, is there any accommodation support for mature students? So that's a really good point, actually, Kat.
We will look at the application that individuals make, and it depends what individuals want. So mature students, depending on your level of maturity, is depending on where we might suggest you would potentially be allocated. So lots of mature students do like a studio setting, so then they can be a little bit independent. We've supported people this year from age 50 through mid-30s through mid-20s. Some people consider them to be a mature student at that point. So we look and we try and build allocations together on that basis, unless somebody's got a particular request they would want to make because of that, and we'll try and support that in every case.
Amazing. I will let you continue on our little tour, and we'll pick up some questions from Nellie moving down after that.
This is the image for Signet Wharf, and it's in 3 buildings, A, B and C. As I say, it has 442 rooms. You've seen the example of one of them. This is an example of kitchen for this small apartment, and you will see Ed's got Netflix on already, so we're going to have a good time this afternoon. Morning. This is Ed from the accommodation team.
Hi, Ed.
The likes of 179 High Street and Viking House. But what we're trying to do is to show you how we can operate in an apartment, and it's comfortable. So as you come through, we've got sofas, we have got TVs, and we've got a kitchen living area. So if Logan can come to pick up to me here, hopefully these banners will pick up. I'll come back to some of the detail on this kitchen, because I think it's important, depending on where you are with your timing, that I get through this little notation here. So, on campus, we have Signet Wharf, as I've just mentioned. Just off campus, about 2 minutes walk away, is the Gateway. 519 rooms, majority studio apartments in an apartment setting, literally a stone's throw away from the university and across the road from McDonald's. We then have Lincoln Courts, which was our original student accommodation village, which gives us just over 1,037 single study bedrooms, of which over 900 are en suite. There is a non-en-suite option and a value option because of the age of the development in that sense, but that gives some benefits in terms of affordability. The value option doesn't require you to make an advance payment, for example, and therefore you can sign in to the agreement as you go through. Valentine Court was opened last year, 2019, so it's only its second group of students in it this year, has 469 beds now. This is about 10 minutes walk away from the university. However, on your way there, you're going to pass Morrison's, you're going to pass the Holiday Inn Express, coffee outlets, and be straight on campus. In that sense, it's really not a long way away once you understand its location. And it's just in front of Farm Foods, next door to Asda. Some of these places are locked down now, aren't they? So that doesn't make it sound as attractive as it used to do. We then have another on-campus location, 179 High Street. It's only just opened this year. 301 bedrooms, mainly en-suite shared apartments like all the rest, but also has 19 self-contained studios in that particular development. This is next door to our Sarah Swift building, David Chiddick building, right opposite the library and the student union where Amina was. So right in the centre of a lot of things that go on. Just further on to the right, we have Viking House, which is 2 minutes walk away from where I am right now. And from the conversation that you had a little earlier, the nursery is just across a roadway to my right. Viking House is just over the water to my left, which is around about 2 minutes walk away. Got 270 rooms in Viking House. We'll have some studio options for 2021 entry. We then have a brand new development coming online later on this year in part, and then completion, which is called St. Mark's, which will end up with just short of 1,300 single study bedrooms, all en suite, right opposite the university.
Right.
So that's the description of properties. If Logan can spin round, I can start to give you some idea of some of the space in this kitchen.
Right there, Ben, but just so that we're not losing sight of some of the questions, and then we will come to the very important ironing board, which every student will require, I'm sure. If we just pick up, both Nellie and Alfred have both asked, when can you book our accommodation? And that's a very valid point, I think.
If you have a confirmed course place, then you can start from Tuesday. It opens on Tuesday. Students will get a contact and an email. This is to help progression of applications. As people will sign up and confirm to the university, they will then be able to drop into their accommodation application quite quickly. So 17th of November, applications will open.
They will. And Verity has asked a question, which I think is one that will be very easy for you, Ben. Are there enough spaces in halls for all the new students to join?
Yes, definitely. All of those buildings that I've just mentioned offer us just over 3,500 bedrooms. And then for 2022, we get the remainder of the St. Mark's development, which takes us into the region of 4,000 bedrooms. Now, with various other reasons for people to look at other accommodation, there is certainly not a shortage of accommodation in Lincoln. There is plenty of accommodation in Lincoln, and people can take their time to make their choices and try and hopefully get something. The vast majority of all of those rooms that I've just mentioned, so over somewhere in the region of 3,000, are all ensuite rooms, which is a big importance to a lot of people. But we also know that budget is very important to a lot of people, and therefore we do need some of the other alternatives as we go down the line.
Absolutely. I'm going to let you do your tour now, continue with your tour, but I just want to let the viewers know that we've got an awful lot of questions about accommodation, and if we're not able to answer them live, that you have colleagues on our Q&A chat, and they are available until 2 o'clock this afternoon. So please go down on the website and click Ask. Thank you, Darren, our helpful assistant, and please go and ask the questions, because you've got your accommodation experts there answering those questions, Ben, haven't you?
Yeah, we'll stay through the afternoon. If any, go on, Ellie.
Sorry, Ben, I just wanted to answer a couple of really easy questions. When we're not in a COVID pandemic and there's not lockdown, then yes, you can have people stay overnight, but no, you can't have pets in accommodation. There were just quite a few questions about that, Ben, and I've heard you answer it so many times I could do those. And there's very limited student parking. It's very unlikely, isn't it, Ben, that you'd be able to park on campus?
Yes, the Valentine Court, which I should have mentioned, does have some car parking limited, and it is prioritised for paramedic and nursing students in the first instance. But any balance is then available to anybody else who lives at Valentine Court. So we are a city centre campus. You don't need a car to be a student at Lincoln, is a fact. However, lots of people will have.
You do need an ironing board, though, Ben.
You think this is QVC? Anyway, a utility cupboard. We provide ironing boards, vacuum cleaner, mops and brushes. But we've added some things today. Me and Ed are staying in for the afternoon. So we've got some croissants just coming out the oven. Yeah?
I hope you're bringing some of those over.
We're in. So you've got bottom cupboard storage, you've got top cupboard storage, and around it, please remember this is a smaller apartment. So it's in Signet Wharf, we have apartments for 10 and 12 people. That bigger kitchen, it means more storage, more opportunities for people to store things with. And
Ben, for the sake of Oliver Strachan, can you just remind him what accommodation you're in at the moment?
Signet Wharf.
Thank
Building C, if you want to. So we're just going to tie up with while we get comfy for either more questions. I'm doing a cushion thing for you, Ellie.
For the benefit of the viewers, this was something that we did on our trial, on our dress rehearsal, wasn't it, Ben?
You won't believe we did actually do a rehearsal. That's the shocker, really, I think, for anyone watching. I think that was brilliant, Ben. I have to say that was absolutely amazing. I think the main thing is to remind everyone that they can speak to the accommodation team. Looking at that, I have to say, you guys look so comfortable. You do make me want to go and move in there. It does look really nice, doesn't it, Emma?
It does.
And just to add, we'll be online and on our emails through the afternoon to make sure we get everything cleared up. Accommodation@lincoln.ac.uk, or our accommodation resource, which is accommodation.lincoln.ac.uk. If you want to see a lot of pictures, a lot of images of everything that we've been speaking about today. But yes, we'll be supporting the online chat that's on the virtual open day all the way through the day, and we'll stay to make sure we get all of the communications picked up that comes through.
I have to say, Ben, you really are the best. When my stepson came, really looked after him.
Cheers. We're doing Saturday morning cooking. Have a great day, everybody. Please ask us any questions if you need it to come through.
Just before we go, I think it's worth just sort of letting all of the viewers know that you do sort of accommodate where possible if there are sort of subject requirements. So like paramedic science and nursing students and medical students that do go off to placement, don't you, Ben? So there is that sort of distinction as well, because we've got a few questions from people about that. So
yes, and the two things there is about vehicle parking and access to where the placement is. And we link in with all of the schools and colleges for any particular demands to try and make sure we're doing that in the right way. But the main question there is surrounding car parking, which we all know is a challenge because of our city centre location.
And I'm just going to say, Tasmin, that accommodation is for 3 people. And Ben, there are loads of people saying a big thank you to you. Anna, HC, Rob, Emily, Paul, Shauna, they've absolutely loved your presentation. It's like watching an episode of Friends. I think it's brilliant. Thank you so much. And we're going to say...
So my colleagues now holding all the kit are falling about. Ed's wondering how we can get out of here. Please, just send us your questions. We'll be waiting.
Thanks, Ben. You guys have a great afternoon, and we'll see you later on for those croissants. We'll say goodbye, Ben, and the cast of Friends, and we'll move on and meet one of my favourite ladies here at the University of Lincoln. Again, you might have picked up my stepson came to study here at Lincoln, and that was very much thanks to the lady we're about to meet, Caroline Connell, who is the nicest and kindest admissions lead I have ever met anywhere. I've not given you your formal title, Caroline. I do apologise. So I'll let you introduce yourself properly, but just say what a wonderful woman you are.
Thank you, Ellie. My name's Caroline Connell, and I work in a department called Student Administration, and we're responsible really for all the administration, sort of behind the scenes parts of the student journey, and that's everything from application right through to assessment, exams, and then ultimately graduation at the end. So, but I'm here this morning just to talk about admissions, but I think Ben's going to be quite a tough act to follow. I don't have anything to show you. It's just me, I'm afraid.
That's good though.
That's always good enough. I think, shall we kick off, because we've already had
Emma, I'm really sorry, before you do, you've just reminded me, we've got 4 minutes till the subject session starts. I'm really sorry. You can come back to us, you can catch up with us, so if you want to go and find your subject talk now, feel free, or stay with Emma and Caroline and catch up with your subject talk later. Thank you, Darren. That's the link you need to go and find your subject talk.
Thank you, Darren. So, Caroline, I'm going to kick off with the questions that have already started to come in for you. And the first one would be, does the University of Lincoln, there's one from Verity, make unconditional offers? So that's we're going to kick off with a real punchy one, really.
That's an interesting one. Verity, we only make unconditional offers for students who have already completed their exams. So if you did your A-levels or your BTECs a couple of years ago, you've got your results, then we would make an unconditional offer in that instance. But we won't be making any unconditional offers based on predicted grades this year. So I hope that answers your question.
That's really helpful. Thank you, Caroline. And I think that'll clear up a lot of people's sort of understanding about the University of Lincoln and the application process. So the first thing really is, do you want to just briefly give us an overview as to how you make an application to the University of Lincoln?
Yeah, of course. I mean, some of you might have already applied. Some of you might be in the process now, and some of you are obviously about to start that. But all applications to universities in the UK are made through Ucas. So it's an online application. So you don't have to apply to each individual in university. But in summary, you have up to 5 choices to make. You can choose 5 different courses at 5 different universities, or you could even choose 5 courses at one university. But the deadline for applications is the 15th of January. Applications are now open, so you've got quite a long window in which to make that application. The only exception to that is Cambridge, Oxford and medicine, and that deadline has just gone. It was the 15th of October, and I know we had a couple of questions earlier from people that are looking at medicine, so you'll have already done your application. But if you apply by the 15th of January, you're guaranteed to get equal consideration from all universities, so we can't fill up in that period. But it's up to you when in that window you make your application. We do stay open a bit later on, right up until June if there are vacancies, but we would encourage people, especially if you're applying for courses like really popular ones like nursing and midwifery, that perhaps you look at applying by the 15th of January. But everything is done via Ucas, and you'll get access to something called Ucas Track, which is where you manage all your applications. So you can see exactly what's happening with each of your applications as you progress through the year.
Fabulous. So we'll just take a couple of questions that are already starting to come through. Eleanor Hopcroft, hi Eleanor, is asking, it says I have a pass in a BTEC extended diploma to get onto the course. I'm doing a BTEC diploma now. Is that the same thing? There's always a lot of sort of questions about BTECs, isn't there? Yeah, and there are lots of different BTECs. There's been quite a lot of changes with BTECs over the years, and my colleagues are very experienced at looking at those different ones. So I think my colleagues John and Louisa are here on the chat today. So Ellen, if you want to direct your question to them, they'll be very happy to look into it for you, and they might just want to ask you some more questions about exactly what the BTEC is that you've done. So you might have done part of a BTEC and are carrying on, but just check with them and they'll be happy to help. And there's a question from Toby Mills. Does Lincoln accept EPQs? And maybe an explanation of what an EPQ is for those viewers that have no idea. Yeah. That is the extended project qualification that lots of applicants tend to do alongside other qualifications as well.
We do accept it for the majority of our courses, but it's very important about looking at the individual entry requirements for each course on our website, and that will tell you exactly whether or not we accept it or don't. But the majority of courses we do accept it, and we really do like to see it.
It's a brilliant qualification, Toby, if you are doing it. It really is good for that transition to university, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, a question that I was going to ask you, actually, Caroline, but Olivia has got in there first, so that's always handy. Olivia has asked, how soon do we find out if our application has been successful? So it's about, once they put the application in, how soon will they hear about their offer?
Yeah, and I'm going to give you sort of a vague answer, but it's going to very much depend on the programme that you've applied for. So I'll just give you a couple of examples. So if you've applied for a psychology programme here at Lincoln, or say a business programme, it'll be our admissions team that look at your application. So they'll be looking at your academic profile, your reference, your personal statement, and they'll make the decision on that. So usually you can hear quite quickly within a few days. But if you've applied for something like nursing or medicine, there's going to be a much longer selection process, because you'll also be invited to come in for an interview. So that process is probably going to take a number of weeks. Obviously, in terms of interviews, we're doing online interviews this year, but normally you'd be invited in. So it's very much depends on your course that you're studying. But again, the website's got a really useful bit of information about how that selection process takes place, so you can see whether or not an interview is going to be required before you apply.
And shall we take the question from Jade? So Jade Baker, morning Jade. You've already done a 3-year course at BGU, which for the viewers is in Lincoln, and you would like to now apply for a nursing course for 2021. So do you need a new Ucas account to apply for that now? Can you explain?
Yes.
There'll be lots of people wanting to go into
yes
social care, and nursing is massive this year.
Yeah, it is. It's very busy. But Jade, yes, you do. You need to apply through Ucas, and that's the same for all of our programmes, regardless of what qualifications you've done in the past or what year of entry you're coming into. So yes, everything is done through Ucas.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. And we've got another question from Emily about EPQs. So we're probably sort of interesting to sort of continue that. Are EPQs considered when making offers if someone is expected to get or has got A's and A stars in it?
Well, yes, we will accept those EPQs, and we will. What you'll see on Ucas Track is any conditions that we've made you as part of your offer. So you may find that we'll ask for a particular subject, but we'll actually be very clear about what you need to do. So yes, you can use your EPQ as part of your offer requirements. Yes.
And can I come in? And if you don't mind, I've got 2 questions for you, Caroline. The first question is, you've been in Lincoln for a while. It's somewhere that you're used to. What's your favourite thing to do in the city of Lincoln or surrounding area? How do you like to relax?
I think Amina talked about walking, didn't she? And Lincoln's fantastic for that. I love that you can, within 2 or 3 minutes walk, you can be right in the city centre where you've got all the sort of the well-known high street brands, obviously when they're open. But with a 10-minute walk up a very steep hill, you can be up in the sort of the old cathedral quarter of Lincoln, and it's fantastic. And Ellie, I've got to mention the cathedral and graduation. We're all lucky enough to spend a whole week up there for our graduation ceremonies in September, and that's an amazing week. And you get to see all the students celebrating their success. They're all beautifully dressed, they look wonderful. I think we're all really looking forward to getting back up there for graduation. So just walking around the city centre and uphill, definitely.
It is a magical place. I mean, the other question I was going to ask you was, I know that we'll have lots of mums and dads watching who are perhaps worried about children leaving home, young people leaving home and going away. Would you be able to tell us sort of what the common questions are that you get from mums and dads, and how you might reassure them?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are lots of questions that we have. I think for a lot of people that are listening today, it's going to be the first time they've ever made a Ucas application and the first time they've gone to university. So it's a big change. and we're open at the moment. We have telephones open and email. So if you've got any questions, then please ask. It's really important. But the Ucas application process is fairly simple, but there are a number of sort of deadlines throughout the year, things at sort of times that you have to make decisions. But I would say to parents, I mentioned Ucas Track before. Ucas do have a system where as an applicant, you can nominate a person. So if you want someone else to speak on your behalf, if you're not there, you can nominate your parents or a guardian. And that's really helpful because Ucas Track will tell you exactly what to do at what time throughout the year. So if you're worried about when to make decisions, when you need to do various things, then look on there. It's really helpful. And there's a huge amount of information available both on Ucas website about making an application and what happens throughout the year, but also on our website as well. So again, look at the course pages. You'll find all sorts of really useful information about there, and it'll just help you prepare for the year and leading up to enrolment next year.
Yes.
Sorry, Caroline.
Sorry, Emma, you go on. Sorry.
No. I was just going to say, shall we? I mean, I think those are valid questions and questions that lots of parents have, and we are very supportive of any questions. We'll take any questions from any parents throughout the year. So please sort of ask us either at admissions at Lincoln or inquiries at Lincoln, and we are more than happy to pick up those questions throughout the cycle. There's a couple of questions. Obviously, we talked about interviews and the interview process as part of the offer. Both Millie and Sophie have both asked how we're going to actually conduct the interview process this year. So if you want to help those, Sophie and Millie, for that would be really helpful.
Yeah, thank you, Sophie and Millie. It's going to depend on which course you've applied for. Again, we'll be very clear about what it is that you need to do. But usually for all the nursing, midwifery, paramedic, science programs, we'd usually invite you in for an interview. So this year we'll be doing it all on Skype or on Teams. So it'll be, sorry, the lights are going off in here because I haven't moved. Sorry.
You're going to have to dance around, Caroline.
Yeah, I'm just going to move for 2 seconds. I do apologise.
This is unprecedented, Emma. We've never had this
live. This is definitely not been edited. I think that's
this really is live. This only happens during lectures if all the students are absolutely stationary. It never normally happens. That's yes. In terms.
Oh, that's brilliant. We've got light. Shall I just quickly pick up on the bioveterinary science? No, that doesn't fall under the medicine and veterinary science. I know you've asked that question a couple of times, so I'm sorry about that. Your application deadline is the 15th of December.
January.
Sorry, I've put you all off, haven't I? Sorry.
No, your dancing was brilliant. That was a new high. That was brilliant, Caroline. Oh, poor Caroline. I'm so sorry. We try and use the different venues across the university to show what the University of Lincoln is like, and we try and do some tours as well. And Caroline, you haven't actually said where you are. It would probably be really useful to explain where you are.
I'm in the Jackson Lecture Theatre, which is one of the big lecture theatres that we've got in the main Minerva building. But we're obviously very good with sustainability here at Lincoln, because if it thinks there's nobody in the room, then it switches the lights off, which is great, and unless you are here, just not moving.
I'm worried now. I'm going to have to.
No, that is true. And talking of sustainability, I did show everyone earlier, but we might have some new people here that all the students who accept an offer get a University of Lincoln hoodie, which we say is our hug in a box that we send out. And this year we did one that's made out of recycled bottles that you find on the beach. And so it says on it, I don't know if you can read it, I was waste and now I'm well loved. And it's something we're very proud of, our student sustainability guide. So we encourage everyone. And we actually launched a climate emergency. Was that this year with Chris Packham? And
go now.
It was fabulous. So it was really good. And Caroline's just demonstrated that with the lecture theatre.
Ellie, what if I could just pick up on a couple more questions that have come up in the chat, some good questions that are perhaps worth mentioning. Leah is asking if we accept the Cachet Level 3 extended diploma. Leah, yes, we do. that we're seeing a lot of students coming in with that programme, especially for paramedic science and the other health-related programmes. And Verity's talking about predicted grades of ACC, but we're looking for BCC. And Verity, yes, we will still consider you as a student. So yes, just to pick up a couple of those questions.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you, Caroline, for doing that. So once people have got these offers, because obviously we hope that all of our viewers today will be successful in getting an offer from us. What do they do and how do they accept that? You talked about sort of looking at Ucas track, but what do you know?
Yeah.
Really
so hopefully, as Emma said, you'd be in a position where you've received offers from all of your applications, and again, Ucas track will tell you that. You'll also probably hear from universities directly, so we'll contact you directly with more information about that offer. But then the decision's really with you as to which offer you're going to accept. So that's probably your first biggest decision that you're going to make throughout the year, and everybody gets to choose what we call a firm choice. So that's your first choice. So that's the university that you're hoping to go to next year. But you also get an insurance choice as well, which is really your backup choice and will only really come into effect if your first choice is not successful. And then you decline all of your other offers. But again, Ucas track will be very good at telling you at what point you need to make those decisions, because they're important decisions and you need to give some real thought as to which one you're going to accept. So it'll very much depend on when that offer's made as to when you have to reply. But I think the very final deadline is much later in the year, so you have plenty of time to make that decision.
Can I just sort of add in a couple of minutes, yes, we will be meeting Will Porter, who is our medical student, so please stay here because we will be meeting Will, and then also Chi-Chi, who is our alumni. So one more question before we sort of move over to Will, I think, and Ellie might have another question, I'm sure. We've got a question about can you still get a place for Ucas points instead of grades? So I think I know on our prospectus and on our website, viewers will see that we sort of put our offer out as grades, but obviously there's always that confusion as to Ucas points and, you know, points for prizes and all of those sort of things. So can you sort of quickly explain that? Because I think that's the questions I get asked a lot when I go out to schools, I know, or when I use schools.
And usually, so the example given there is that usually, yes, we would accept you if you meet the Ucas tariff points. However, again, you just need to very carefully check what offer is that we've made to you, because we might say for something like subject in science, we might ask that you get a particular grade from a particular subject. So just bear that in mind. But usually, as long as you've met the tariff points from those 3 A levels, then we would be able to accept you. But again, just check the conditions of your offer carefully. That's
fabulous. Thank you so much, Caroline. Thanks for your time with us today. And if people want to contact you, they can. On the Virtual Open Day website, you'll find Caroline's team there ready to answer questions, or you can contact our admissions office. As Caroline said, we're all working as per usual, here to help if you need us. So I don't have any more questions for you, Caroline, actually, but is there anything that you'd like to say before you leave us?
Just to say, my colleagues John and Louisa are here on the chat, and I'll be on there too. So if you've got any other questions that you think of, then please ask us. And if not, throughout the year, if you need to contact us, please pick up the phone or email us, and we'll be really happy to help.
Can we Thank you. On Paul's question? So I've got 2 points just before we go to Will, if that's all right. And I'm sorry, Will, because I know we're running late. A foundation programme. I know I have missed a couple of times where people have mentioned about foundation degrees. So do they apply? Should they apply directly for a foundation degree? Thank you, Darren, for putting that up. Or will I be offered this if I don't make the grades? So really Paul,
yes, you can apply directly for the foundation course as an option. The other option would be to apply for the degree, and if you didn't meet the grades, later on next summer, then we would hopefully be able to offer you that as an alternative. We do that as standard in the summer. So Paul, it's really up to you, but you might want to go for the degree and hope you get the grades for that. We also do, if you had applied for the foundation course and do really well in your results, then we would offer you the degree anyway. So either way, it's up to you.
But good luck, Paul. Hopefully you'll do really, really well. So aim high. And Caroline, loads of people are saying thank you. And thanks to Swasti for saying thank you. Thank you, Caroline, for your time. It's lovely to see you. We are going to move on and we're going to go and meet Will Porter. So goodbye, Caroline, and a massive thanks.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before we meet Will is one of our students, and along with a lot of our staff and the experts that are answering those Q&As, we've got a lot of students answering questions. So if you're interested in a particular subject, there will be a student that is answering the Q&As behind the scenes on our UniBuddy site. So again, it's on the website. Just click down to where it says chat with a student. Thank you very much, Darren. And you can ask the questions. They're here throughout the time, but certainly here till 2:00. Please ask the students if you want a real insight as to what the courses are like here.
And on that site, you'll also have the opportunity to do some virtual tours, have a look around, and find out more about the subject. There's lots of links to the subject pages, so you can find out lots more. Before we move on, Emma, I haven't asked you today, what's your favourite thing to do in and around Lincoln and beyond?
In Lincolnshire, my favourite thing is going across to the Lincolnshire coast. It's the most beautiful coast. I think it's sort of like a hidden gem, really, in Lincolnshire. It's not necessarily sort of one of the coastlines that you always think of. I think you always think of Skegness for the Lincolnshire coastline, but actually there's some beautiful beaches at Anderbury Creek, at Huttoft, and it's just absolutely wonderful to sort of go, and it's literally an hour away from Lincoln. And whether it's winter or whether it's, a beautiful summer's night, it is an incredible place to go. And I am going to ask you, Ellie, because I know you like the Lincolnshire coast and the seals at this time of the year, I think, don't you?
Well, you can read my mind, Emma. I was desperate to remind you about Donanook, which is literally on the coast, not very far away at all. And I do absolutely love the seals. We get around about 1,000 seals born over this period into November at Donanook, and going and seeing the seals is absolutely fabulous. And I was really excited this summer and bored Emma senseless because when I was swimming at the coast this year, a black seal popped up next to me, and literally about 10 feet away, and was swimming next to me, and I was so excited. And it's one of the things I love about being here in Lincoln, just the wildlife. I often talk about the otters, which are here on campus, the swans, the muscovy ducks. If you do like wildlife, it is a fantastic place to be. Yes, seals, Swasti, real massive seals that are probably about 9 foot long and very, very heavy, and they are beautiful. If you Google Donanook, you'll see some pictures, and I think you can watch some live cams at the moment.
Yeah, you used to be able to. Yeah, I would Google it, but it is quite a Lincolnshire coastal highlight, I would say, at this time of the year.
Lincoln is full of well-kept secrets. Before I came to Lincoln, I had no idea any of this was here. And once you get here, it's just magical. But talking of magic, it's time to go and find Will. Will is a fabulous student. I'm hoping you're there, Will. So can I say from Emma and me, hello, Will.
Morning. Hello.
Gosh, you're looking better.
Yeah, Will was a bit poorly last time we spoke. How are you doing, Will?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm pretty much normal now.
You're looking good. Tell us where you are, Will. Where are you at the moment?
I'm in my bedroom in my student house.
Can you twist the camera around and show us whether you've made the bed today? And
I have made the bed.
Sort of.
As well.
So Will, tell us who you are and what you study and how long you've been here.
So I'm Will. I'm a medical student here. I've just started my second year, and I've been here for a year. So started in September 2019, and here we are.
Hisham says, hi, Will. So
Hello.
hi to Hisham. Yeah. So, Will, tell us, what's it like to be a medical student or a student of any kind here at Lincoln?
I think it's a great place to be a student. Yeah, I mean, being a medical student here, it's quite exciting because obviously, well, I was part of the first cohort of medical students, so it's quite cool to be part of something so new and exciting. And everyone's very excited for us to be here. But just generally being a student in Lincoln is great. I mean, so I did an undergraduate degree in Birmingham, and so that was a massive city, and it's a different experience, but I mean, it's great. It's amazing that you can just walk everywhere. It's got everything you need. Yeah,
because Lincoln's interesting, actually, isn't it? Because I don't know if you know this, Will, but 1 in 5 people in Lincoln is a student. So it's a really student-orientated city, and it's a very friendly city, and we're right in the middle of it. And the university exists because the city came together and created the university, and so it's quite a friendly place to be. Have you noticed that?
Oh, definitely, yeah, 100%. It's a really exciting place to be as well. Like, you feel there's quite a lot sort of going on and new developments and all sorts. Like it's a cool place to be living, really.
And I mean, Amina was talking about sports and societies earlier. So can you tell us a bit about the social side? What sports and societies you've joined, whether you've had any nights out sort of in the first year, and what that's like?
Yeah, mainly in the first year, really. That sort of thing hasn't really happened much this year, but hopefully that'll change quite soon. So yeah, last year I was part of the squash society, so I played squash, and I was part of establishing the medical society into becoming something that could support medical students, obviously, as the numbers are going to increase. And yeah, I mean, there's loads to do. Like it's quite difficult to sort of narrow down what you want to do into just 1 or 2 things, but they're obviously a great way to meet people, socialise, and get the most out of university, really.
Because who do you live with, Will?
So this year I'm living with course mates. So I've got 3 course mates, and it's
nice. Are they okay to live with?
Yeah. It's all good. It's quite nice to be able to sort of choose who you live with for your second year, and yeah, it's good.
Now, Swasti, who's been watching since the beginning and is proving she would be better at my job than me, she's got a really good question for you. Why did you choose the medical course at Lincoln and not anywhere else?
That's a good question. I mean, I just really liked it here. I thought it was quite exciting to be part of something so new. And yeah, as soon as I came to Lincoln, you kind of feel a bit at home, really. I thought the course sounded great. I mean, so we're technically part of the Nottingham Medical School, which is obviously a very well-established course, and so you had a bit of it's a great course and great medical school to be a part of, really.
And Hisham says, he's picked up on Swasti's question, Hisham says, is there a good balance between the theory and the practical clinical elements of the course?
Oh, definitely, yeah. So the course, it gets you into like placement quite early, or clinical exposure quite early. And the clinical skills side of things is quite heavily pushed. You'll be doing that from quite a lot in year 1. And yeah, I think we were supposed to have, I can't remember how many GP placements last year, but the final 1 or 2 were cancelled, unfortunately. But we had a couple of hospital visits and 1 or 2 GP placements as well last year, and then this year it increases as you go on.
And I know you were at the GP placement because you did yours in Louth, didn't you? And you were there about a month ago, just before we went into lockdown.
Yeah,
how was that,
right.
Will?
Oh, yeah, it was great. I mean, so it's slightly different seeing things currently, but any sort of clinical exposure is really beneficial to our learning. And I think they're really trying to keep that even under the current situation as much as we can get, really. But yeah, anything that sort of you can see patients sort of face to face, or see how clinicians interact with patients, it's very beneficial.
And tell us, what sort of things do you like to do for fun? What have you found?
Well, I like doing things. I don't like sitting down and not doing much, to be honest. But yeah, so as I mentioned, I played squash. I've not actually played much this year, but I like running. I like just exploring. I like seeing what's around, cycling, particularly in Lincoln. I think there's a lot to do, and it's a great place to explore and things. As you mentioned, the coastline's really nice, and there's some very nice countryside, and just it's a great place to explore, really.
And what about in the city of Lincoln? What is there much to do there?
Absolutely, yeah. I think there's literally something for everybody. There's a whole host of great bars and restaurants and things like that. If that's what you're into, but obviously the historic centre of Lincoln is really, really nice. It's lovely to go around the castle at the top, and look, the views are pretty special. It's nice sort of being on top of the castle and looking down at the cathedral, because I don't know, it almost looks like a toy village, really, when you're looking at it from up there. Like it's quite a sight. But yeah, there's literally loads to do. I mean, I quite like my art, so there's an art gallery in the city when I go on a Wednesday evening to do some life drawing when that's open. Yeah, it's a great place to be living, really, for any age, I'd say.
Well, this may be a bit of a strange question, but lots of mums and dads will be watching, and they might be worried about young people leaving home and going off to university, especially given everything that's happened with the coronavirus pandemic. And what advice would you give them? Would you recommend people going to university at this time, or what are your thoughts?
I think that's quite a difficult question to answer. I don't know. Because I think it was obviously we've come as a second year, so we built on last year, so we had a bit of a first year experience last year. Obviously things are different currently, but I think I like to think that next year we're going to have a bit more of a grasp on things, and it's obviously nerve-wracking at any time to be going to university, so I wouldn't worry too much about that, and everyone's sort of in the same boat. So that I feel like the university has been very very supportive in making sure that we still get the experience that we want. So I wouldn't be as I don't know, really. I wouldn't be too worried, and I'd definitely recommend coming if you're thinking about coming, especially with certain courses. Things like medicine, it's a long course, so in some ways it's quite good to sort of get it done if you can. But yeah, if you feel like taking a year out or whatever. I mean, I did before my first degree. I took a year out, and it was. I mean, I loved it. But yeah.
What did you do? What did you do in your year out?
So I was 2013. I finished my A-levels, but I took a year out to go to work in a lab. I worked in a wines and spirits lab for a bit, and then I went traveling for 4 months, and I went around Asia, Nepal and China and places.
Which is a wonderful experience and really good. For anyone to go and experience the world, definitely. No, that's really useful. Emma, have you got any questions for Will?
Not really, Will. I'm interested to know about your sort of squash. I'm quite a squash widow myself, so and on campus, I think it's worth letting the viewers know that there are actually 4 squash courts. So when life is normal, there's plenty of squash that can be played, and sort of having that life experience, I think, for any sort of course is not ever seen as a bad thing. I think you mature an awful lot in that year from 18 to 19 and really decide where you want to be. I think you are sort of credit to that, Will. There's a question here, another question, of course. Because it's a new medical school, what opportunities do you get to establish a medical school, put your input into and have your say? I think what we're trying to sort of establish there is sort of how the University of Lincoln students are part of everything that we deliver, and I know both myself and Ellie know that from sort of an established sort of a staff point of view, but from a student, do you feel as though you've got a voice?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think it's also, obviously we were the first cohort, so there was only about, I think, 80 of us in the first year last year. Obviously it's increased this year, but yeah, no, 100%. You definitely feel that your opinions are really valued. We have some great like course reps as well, and everyone kind of knows everyone a little bit, and you can easily just get in touch with your course rep if you don't, if something's not working out for you, or you've got any advice. And we all know the lecturers quite well as well, so it's quite nice just to be able to drop them a line and just say, I don't know, could you explain this, or can I suggest that you do this, or I don't know, if you don't like the delivery of the lectures, like for example, I wasn't getting involved. I didn't like a certain style of lecture delivery, and I voiced it, and I think people agreed, and we got that changed this year. But yeah, the lecturers, they put on like town hall meetings so that we can give feedback on things that are working, that aren't working, and just in terms of from another student perspective, like being a new med school, being a new cohort of medical students, I've been involved in setting up the medical society, and as I mentioned, and it's quite nice to be part of that, and sort of paving the way for the future generations of medical students that are going to come through Lincoln. But yeah, I think that's something that's going to continue to happen really as time goes on. I think students are always going to have a massive say in things, and they're going to value student opinion. You do get that impression here.
And we're a little bit different, but thinking back to when you were 18 and what you know now,
yeah.
What advice would you give anyone watching? What do you wish you'd known back then that you know now?
I'd say don't be afraid to try new things. Like obviously come to university, it can be quite daunting, and there's so much going on, and you want to sort of try and make the most. But yeah, don't be afraid to give stuff a go. Really, there's so much to offer here, and yeah, get involved and try and find your place a bit. There's great opportunities to do that here. Yeah.
No, that's great. And any top tips for making friends?
Oh, learn how to cook, expand your cooking skills. It's a great way to get your mates around.
First student to have said that, to use cooking. Cooking is the heart to everything, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah.
No,
I'm
definitely.
running a cooking course tomorrow evening as part of the medical society.
Oh,
really?
On Teams.
Oh my gosh, what are you cooking?
I'm cooking a quick homemade pasta with a aubergine, and it's all vegetarian. But
count me and Emma in. We will be there. That sounds good.
Yeah,
No, that sounds really good. It's been really nice to talk to you, Will, hasn't it, Emma?
Oh, it's always a pleasure to chat with Will. I love it.
I know. Yeah, you're
Great.
such a star, Will. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Elliot. I've just seen your question. I'm going to ask our producer Darren to pick up your question and to try and post you the link to the 360-degree tour. That should work. The one that's there. Yes, Swasti, those were brilliant answers, Will. You got the thumbs up from Swasti. So thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, I hope it was all the best, everyone.
Yeah. Definitely. Good luck to Swasti. I hope we're going to see you next autumn, and Will be looking for you to say hi. So we'll say a big goodbye to Will, and thank you so much for your time. You have a good rest of the weekend, and we will catch up with you soon, Will. Take care, and thanks for your honest advice.
Thanks,
Cheers,
Will.
guys.
Enjoy your weekend.
And you. Bye.
Yeah, and the cooking. Oh, that sounds so good, doesn't it, Emma?
It does, doesn't it? Honestly, so many students always talk about if you can at least cook, then you can make friends when you come to uni. So anybody that is starting to sort of consider joining university next year, then make sure you've got a cookery book for Christmas, I would say.
That is so good. I mean, funnily enough, I was just thinking, any mums and dads who are watching, if you can do one thing to help your young person, help them learn to cook. And the other brilliant Christmas present option is the Carol Ann Duffy book, which I love. And we will be talking to Carol Ann at 1 o'clock. So please do set your alarms and join Emma and I for that chat, because I'm really excited. Carol Ann is a wonderful woman, incredibly inspiring, and obviously absolutely brilliant. So how she's going to cope with us, I don't know, Emma, but we'll do our best.
We will
and
do our best.
Yes, we will definitely do our best. And it's probably a really good time for us to visit the library and to go and say hello to one of our alumni.
Morning, Chi.
Hi, Ellie. Hi, Emma.
Hi, Chi. Tell us a little bit about where you are and who you are and why you're here and why you've kindly joined us.
Well, I'm Chichi. I'm a graduate from the University of Lincoln. I've did my media production undergraduate studies here, but I also did my journalism master's degree here. And today I'm sat in the Zibby Garnet room in our Great Central Warehouse Library, which Amina has already showed you. So I'm sat in that building that you've already seen today. And yeah.
Wow, that's brilliant. So, Chi, Emma mentioned you earlier and said that you had quite a unique route into the University of Lincoln. Would you mind sharing that? How come you ended up here?
Of course. So I came to Lincoln in 2016, and back then in 2016, I was already studying in Austria, where I'm actually from, for 2 years in a university in Austria. And there is a program going on, which is an exchange program, which is called Erasmus. And I came to the University of Lincoln as an Erasmus student with cooperation with the university that I was studying in Austria. And yeah, I was just meant to stay one term, that was from September till December, and I was meant to go back to Austria and finish my studies there. However, the University of Lincoln experience studying here, anything that I was offered within that one term that I was here was so amazing, and it did flew me away, and I just thought I didn't want to go back, and I did anything in my power to make sure that I was not going back. So I begged the university back in Austria that I could extend my stay, and they said unfortunately I couldn't. So I asked the University of Lincoln if it was possible for me to transfer. So although I had studied for 2 years already back in Austria, it was amazing that the University of Lincoln said, that is great, we will take you. So I ended up doing it an extra year within my undergraduate studies, just because I've transferred here, but it was the best decision of my life. So I do not regret transferring here to Lincoln, because I had such an amazing time being a student here. I would do the same again.
And I think you stayed on and did a master's as well, didn't you, Chi?
Exactly. I don't know how to put it in words. So as you can realize, I was so amazed by how welcomed I was here at the University of Lincoln. We do always talk about the one community feeling that you get when you're a student here. But I just really want to point out that I was away 1,000 miles from my parents, from my family, and I do love them with all my heart. But the opportunities that I was given here at this university and the quality of teaching and everything, the support, the academic support, not even just academic, but also well-being support, etc. It was just amazing. And I knew it was the best choice for me also to do my master's degree, my postgraduate degree here, because I knew the campus, I knew the academics, and I knew the library where I'm set in right now, which was a really big factor for me also, just to not having to spend that time on getting to know the city as well. So I could just purely focus on my studies.
And Chi, as a student, did you get involved with any of the sports and societies? What was the social life like? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Of course. So during my student time here in Lincoln, I did do a lot of partying. I did do lots of partying because the university was offering so many great events. That was one of my main parts of my student life here at the University of Lincoln. But also, as we've so many people have spoken about it today. Amina has really extensively talked about societies, sports societies and other clubs. And I was a member of the volleyball society.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I played for the Bucks ladies team in my first year. And in my second year, I played for LVA team. But I was also a committee member. So I held the position as a fundraiser for that society. So I've started being a team member. However, because everyone's so nice, and if you stay longer than a year or two within a society, you become a part of that society. So I became a committee member, which means that I was in charge of making sure that that society was run smoothly and had the financial resources that we needed. So it became like my own personal baby in the end when I graduated. So when I was leaving the University of Lincoln, I knew I contributed something towards the one community feeling and towards the university itself.
Yeah, we're really proud at Lincoln of one community, and we don't tolerate hate or bullying or harassment of any kind. We're very proud that we offer a home from home. So from the moment you arrive, you're part of a new home and you're looked after, and we are incredibly friendly. I think it's one of the things that is a real USP for the University of Lincoln. It's what Emma and I try and ensure every student's experience is, really, isn't it, Emma?
Absolutely, yeah. From the very start, from an application onwards, we have such a friendly team. Chichi is one of those, and we absolutely we treat every application and every student as an individual. I think that's very much, and I think and beyond. I think it's fair to say that even as an alumni, our careers team are there to help you a couple of years after graduation, and you are just part of that Lincoln family. We've grown massively over the last sort of 25 years as a university, but even so, we still put the student at the heart of absolutely everything that we do, don't we?
Definitely. And has that been your experience, Chichi?
Absolutely. I think it's so great that we have so many options here as a student to get to know people. Again, as I said, I didn't know anyone here in Lincoln when I came to Lincoln for the first time. However, within the couple of years that I was here, I met so many students. I had a friends group just from my lectures, from my course, the degree I was studying. I had friends from volleyball who I'm still in touch with, who I still see. So it's friends for life that you make. And I had friends from the international aspect that I was always involved in. So I was going to international events as well, which also home students can attend to, which is amazing. So they can get to know different cultures. I personally benefited so much from that I got to know so many international people. Although I was myself not from the UK, I was from Austria, I got to meet friends that I can still go now to and visit them. I met people from Brazil to Mexico to Colombia, Japan, Singapore, and Philippines, China, everywhere. So, I mean, not even mentioning Europe. So I could just go today and visit my friends there. It's nice to say that you've got friends all around the world. So I think that's also one of the great things that, you can benefit from here at the University of Lincoln, because we're so diverse. It's such a diverse community as well that I think that's worth mentioning.
And what's your favourite? Sorry, Emma, you go. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm butting in.
No,
your journey for your studies included a placement, I believe. And didn't you have your journalism placement in Paris?
Exactly. So I've seen that one of the questions here was if one of the prospective students could have the placement in Germany. So absolutely, you can take a year to do a placement year within your studies if you're studying business, and of course that can be in Germany. And we've got a great support team here at the University of Lincoln who will even help you to find a placement, who will encourage you, and who will help you with any single step that you need to take. So the Global Opportunities team, who I also got to work with when I came here as a student and when I did my placement, are amazing. So I had to do a placement during my journalism degree, and I was like the student who mentioned that he wants to go to Germany, I went to Paris. So I did my placement in Paris for my journalism degree. I was working at an English-speaking radio station there. And yeah, I can say that is one of the highlights on my CV, and I would highly support to do that.
That does sound absolutely amazing. It makes me want to go back to uni. I don't know about you, Emma, but that sounds great.
Absolutely. You feel the opportunities that students have now is incredible, and how we support students is I'm always ever so jealous when I speak to students now.
And it does remind me that one of the things we normally talk about when we have physical open days is that our careers team are there, and they will always say that they're thinking about students' careers from day one. So there's a whole host of one-to-one and additional support activities, whether it be learning how to prepare your CV, preparing for interviews, coaching skills, the Lincoln Award, which is a fantastic activity where students can undertake additional employment relevant skills that can then be accredited with a specific award that then students can show to employers to show the skills that they've got, which really helps build our employability. And our employability rates are something that we're incredibly proud of, and that really is down to that careers and employability team, and they're really closely integrated with the Students' Union as well. So all the things that we do, students are supported. So whether you just want support to get a part-time job to help to fund your study, or whether you want to prepare yourself for when you graduate, the team is there to help you. Chi-Chi, I've never asked you this, but did you have a part-time job when you were a student?
I was one of the lucky students. I got financial support from my family, so I didn't really need to. But I did have, for a short period of time, a part-time job. So I did bartending at the Hilton Hotel for a couple of months, and just behind you, which was amazing. It was really flexible. I could just pick the hours that I wanted to work, which was mostly weekends, and it could be even in the evening. So I'm not doing some advertising for the Hilton Hotel. I'm just trying to say in Lincoln it is easy to find a part-time job. After that, during my master's, because I had so much free time during the summer when I was writing my dissertation, I just wanted to have a different way of spending my time. So I applied for a part-time job at Trespass as well. So it is really, really easy, I would like to say, to find a part-time job if you need that financial support from yourself. But if the financial resources that you've got are not enough, it is really easy to find a part-time job here in Lincoln as well. And the employers are really supportive with your university work and everything. So you can always talk to them if you can't make a shift, or if you have to get someone in to cover your shift.
Thank you, Chi-Chi. Now, before we leave you, I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind, if you'll take us out of the room you're in and just show us the library, if that's okay. So this is a mini tour.
Tour.
I know. This is a world first for the University of Lincoln Virtual Open Day. We're doing multiple tours today.
Yeah, so I'm just putting my mask on. I'm sorry if you can't hear me properly.
You look so cute in that mask. That is amazing. I wish I looked like that in a mask.
All right, so apologies for the mess that you might see behind me that I've left behind with my jacket and my bag. I'm just walking out, and I'm just going to make sure that I don't lock myself
Chi-Chi's
out.
Leaving the study space. Yeah. And
so this was the Zibby Garnett room behind me.
Brilliant.
And now we're walking to the study area in the first floor of the university. So as you can see behind me, we've got a few students in who are studying still because they can still visit the library.
That's good. And there's loads and loads of books there.
Exactly. So we've also got two more floors where you can find the books that you need for your degree and for your studies. And we've also got a silent floor in third floor, where if you are like me and you can't work in, even if there is a little bit of noise, so you're not allowed to talk there or eat there or drink at all. So there is pure silence if that's how you study best.
I have to admit, I know it's a bit early, but I'm surprised there aren't more students in, aren't you, Emma?
Well, I am, because I would have thought Saturday at around sort of lunchtime would be prime time to study, but maybe I'm wrong. We've spoken to other alumni, haven't we, Ellie, that actually study best between the hours of sort of midnight and 6 in the morning, or students 6 in the morning. So, and the beauty of that library is it's open 24/7, Chichi, isn't it?
Exactly, which comes really handy when you're a student and when you've got an assignment due in. I can talk from experience myself, that 24/7 approach of the university has came in handy when I was submitting my first dissertation for my undergraduate studies. I did an all-night at the university, and I was printing at 3 p.m. at the printer my dissertation so I could get it binded. But yeah, I can say the 24/7 approach is amazing. It did save my life, maybe my education. So yeah,
you were grateful. So I think we can say. I'm going to say a massive thank you to Chi-Chi for that mini tour. It's been an absolute pleasure to spend time with you as ever. Thank you so much. Emma and I are going to say goodbye to Chi-Chi.
Bye everyone.
Thank you. Lovely to see
Thank you. Take care. So as we wind down, we've got 10 minutes left of our session today. So if you've got any last questions for Emma or I, please do post a question. And if you haven't said hello and you'd like to say hello and tell us where you're from, then please do so. We're really keen to know who's watching. I'm going to ask Emma to have a quick run through of what's going on the virtual open day, so you won't miss out on anything.
Absolutely. We'll just quickly say hi to Mark and lovely, another alumni of our cohort here. And I just want to be a Lincoln student as well, Mark. I'm always so jealous at the beginning of every term and wish it was me. So today, currently the subject sessions are happening. So at the moment, the subject sessions are happening and we are online until 2:00 today. So we've got students that are on our UniBuddy answering questions. We have experts from accommodation, admissions, from student wellbeing, from every college in the university, all answering your questions. So if you've still got questions that are subject specific about the university, please ask. Thank you so much again, Darren. That's where you need to sort of tune in. And if you scroll down on that page, keep scrolling down until you reach visit to chat with the student or the information zone, then please click on there and there will be some little videos that you can watch if you want some pre-recorded information. But if you want just questions to answer, then please go and get those questions now. The highlight, we are going to break off very shortly. Is there a prospectus? Yes, if you scroll all the way down to the very bottom, then you can click on order a prospectus. So you can get one of our very shiny gold prospectuses, which I think Ellie is looking for as a prop.
I am.
I haven't got.
Someone's taken it from me.
Please order your prospectus so that you can have a physical prospectus and we will ship that out to you. That's why we are here, to be able to do that for you.
And they are beautiful. I have to say, our prospectuses are absolutely beautiful. They're worth having. I wish I had one that I could show you. I'm hoping we'll make sure we've got one for 1:00 for our very special guest when Dame Carol Ann Duffy will be with us, technology allowing. We did have a practice yesterday that was slightly traumatic, wasn't it, Emma, where we were trying to...
It was. But anybody that is watching that is currently studying A-level English literature, we have looked and searched and got some of the content that you will be studying. So if you're studying English at GCSE or A-level, then Carol Ann can give you a real insight. Now, it's all about getting those extra points on those A-levels at the moment. So if you've got mocks coming up, then this is key. So please tune in.
You will be the only person quoting the actual previous poet laureate in your exam. So please do watch. Don't miss that. It's a real treat. And I, for one, am really excited whenever we get to spend time with Carol Ann Duffy. It is such a treat. She's so brilliant and such a wonderful, kind, warm, inspiring woman. she is really, really special. So please do join us at 1 o'clock. You'll find it either here on the virtual open day or on the front page of the University of Lincoln website. And we really hope that you'll join us for that. It's been a really exciting day though, hasn't it, Emma? It's been really good.
It has, and I think it's key now, Ellie, to sort of say that it doesn't stop here, does it? Absolutely. We have lots of avenues that you can sort of join us. You can join us on sort of Facebook, on Instagram, and we've got loads more sort of activity on Instagram. So please join there. If you've applied to us, you can also be join our Facebook applicants page. And for the parents, we also have a parents page. So if you are a parent and you want to ask questions without sort of your 17, 18-year-old sort of listening to you and it's not a cool question to ask, then you have got the security of a little closed group where lots of first and second year parents are on there, so they can tell you exactly their experience. And it's a really, really useful tool, I think.
It is. There's also Friends for Life, which students can join, so you can actually get to know people before you join. So once you're an offer holder, you can join up and get to know some people. And we've had friendship groups get together and come here to Lincoln for a sort of weekend away ahead of starting. So you feel like you know someone before you come here. The other thing that we do, which is really fabulous, if you go onto our website, is you'll find our live lounges. And the live lounge is something that normally runs on a Wednesday every week. And we do academic or interesting discussions. We did a discussion about the American presidential elections. We did a discussion about criminology this week. We've got a discussion coming up with Caroline Duffy this week. And then again, another discussion with Chris Packham coming up about climate. And our student Bailey will be interviewing Chris. She's our environmental representative, and she'll be talking to Chris about how young people can make a difference. So do visit our live lounge and do join in with those sessions. They are live. We want you to ask questions. We want you to be part of it. And the other thing that Emma's team does is a range of talks on things like writing your personal statement.
We do. We certainly do. And Chris, just to pick up on your question about blended learning, that's really nice to know. And well, we're on campus, both myself and Ellie now, and we've got students that are still studying in actually on campus, but also we've also got the online system that the staff here are incredible how we've adapted, and credit to you as students, because it's a life-changing difference to come to university, let alone being sort of inflicted with sort of a blended learning approach.
But it is working really well, Emma. And I think the thing that we've learned as a university is that we'll be taking some of this learning forwards and changing the way that we do things as an institution. Because as you said earlier, there are elements that students and staff prefer where, there's ways of getting more out of the activities by having things recorded and having them online, so you can refer to them again and again and again, which is really, really useful. But here I am, as I mentioned earlier, in the University of Lincoln Vice Chancellor's office, and it is probably a good time to mention that our Vice Chancellor is again a really inspirational woman. She's led the University of Lincoln for the last 10 years, and she's opened a new academic school every single year, culminating in the medical school that we talked about earlier. And her research is in social mobility and higher education and the transformative nature of higher education. And we've really put that into practice here at Lincoln. And I think we're incredibly proud of what our students go on to achieve and of our alumni. And you've met some of them today, and I hope they've inspired you as much as they inspire me.
Absolutely. I agree, Ellie. And with your results, I can see we've got a question about the subjects. We've got a couple of questions. Subject sessions are being recorded, and yes, what we've got is a page called Lincoln on Demand. So it's lincoln.ac.uk, and I think it's LOD. Darren, I'm sure, will help us out there. But it's LOD at the end, /LOD. And there is a whole host of our live lounges on there. And you can watch again later. So if you want to watch with different members of the family or friends that haven't been able to join this morning, then it is there. It is an on-demand world.
You can have a watch party with me and Emma.
On demand, sorry. I made that LOD up, obviously, so I apologize. But Wales, don't worry about your qualifications in Wales. Those qualifications, those results will still come out and they will be valid. It doesn't matter. Just like the applicants that we had for 2020, it will be absolutely fine. Please don't worry. That's fine, and we will take into consideration. Your result will be your result, and that is valid.
We've loved spending this time with you today. It's been really good. We're sorry we couldn't invite you here onto campus. We're really keen to get you onto campus as soon as we possibly can. And as we mentioned earlier, we will be posting up on the website soon the opportunity for people to put their names down to be invited to one of our physical open days or tours as soon as we're able to do that, because we both believe that it's the most important decision you will probably ever make in terms of choosing where to go to university. And we're really keen that you get the opportunity to visit and get a real feel for Lincoln and find out whether it's for you and whether it's somewhere where you would be happy. Thank you so much for that, Ninky. Ninky says we're amazing. I hope I've pronounced your name right.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us. And it's a massive goodbye from me.
And from me, and we will see you again. Go and get yourself a coffee, get some quick lunch, and we'll see you at 1 o'clock with Carol and Duffy. Thank you. Goodbye.